Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with a video on the brilliant Baadur Jobava. Jobava is a Georgian Grandmaster, Georgia in Eastern Europe. He's a member of the 2700 plus ELO club, so he's a very strong player, but he's also a bit different. He's different in his lifestyle. He likes a night out. It has been reported that he arrived at tournament games straight from a night out, so not having slept at all. And also on the board, he is flamboyant. He likes to go his own way. He plays very creatively, and the game I want to show you is a very good example of that. It was played in the European Individual Championships of 2017. It was held in Minsk in Belarus. An 11-round tournament, and this game was played in round 9. Jobava is black against the English Grandmaster Gawain Jones. Let's have a look at the game. We'll look at it from black's perspective, so from Jobava's perspective. Jones played c4, Jobava answered with c6, knight f3, d5, g3, and Jobava took. Bishop g2 from Jones. We're in an English opening, and here Jobava played knight d7. For this video I've used the analysis from Grandmaster Jan Timman in the magazine New in Chess, and here Timman writes that Jobava often goes his own way in the opening, and he explains that normally black has already developed his king's knight to f6, and the move from the game gives black extra options. But I would say don't try to play this at home, don't try this at home. Not many people can play like Jobava does. Knight a3 from Jones. He wants to win the c4 pawn back. e5. And now knight takes c4 is not a good move because of e4, forcing this knight to a bad square. So after e5, Jones did not take on c4, he played queen c2. b5, Jobava is hanging on to his extra pawn. Jones castled, and knight gf6 developing. b3, which is a standard move when black has taken the gambit pawn on c4 and is trying to hold on to it like Jobava does. But according to Jan Timman, this is not the best move in the position. He says that white should have tried d4, and if that pawn is taken en passant, then the e-pawn takes back. Bishop b7 to protect the c6 pawn. And then rook e1. And white will win his pawn back on e5 with a good position. Black has no good way to hang on to that pawn on e5. But as said, b3 was played. And bishop c5 from Jobava. And here is a grandmaster term for you. Timman writes, he says he likes this move, and he says it's aiming for a strategic blockade of the white position. That's what black is trying to do with that move. Jones took on c4, and b4 kicking the knight. The knight went to b1. This is a bad move according to Timman, as it makes black's opening strategy a complete success. Here white again should have played d4. And Timman gives this variation, e takes d4, then the attacked knight goes back to b1. Jobava then could have castled, knight bd2, bringing the knight back into play, a5, and bishop b2. White is going to win the pawn on d4 back with equal chances. But after knight b1, Jobava played e4, preparing a strong positional pawn sacrifice. Knight g5 and bishop d4, hitting the rook in the corner. Bishop b2, knight c5, and here goes black's pawn. Knight takes e4, knight f takes e4, and bishop takes e4, and it looks bad for black. c6 is hanging, and black cannot take on e4, because after knight takes e4, there is queen takes e4 check, and white wins a piece. We'll win that bishop. But here comes the point. Jobava castled here, and that's the point of the pawn sacrifice. White will not be able to avoid his king's bishop this one, to be swapped, after which black has a strong attack. Taking on c6 now is not good because of bishop h3, and I just give you one variation. If then white takes on a8, the queen takes back with a checkmate threat on g2, and white has to play e4. Black will take that pawn, and this turns out to be bad for white. This is a good variation for black. So after black castled, you cannot take on c6. Taking on h7 with check turns out not to be good for white either. That's not good. And also bishop g2, retreating the bishop, does not work because of a very nice move, queen f6. And this is a tactic we don't often see. Black is going to win a piece. The bishop on b2 is attacked twice, and it's not possible to defend it again. You cannot play the bishop away because then the rook will be hanging. And if you take on d4, black takes back, that rook is hanging, and very surprisingly, white cannot protect it, and also cannot play this knight away to protect the rook. Quite remarkable, and something that Jobava foresaw. So, after all this, what can white do? Well, he played d2, d3. And now Jobava took on e4, has won that bishop, which opens up white's king a bit. D takes e4, and there goes the bishop, which is now unopposed. Rook e1. It's very important that you don't play rook d1, because there's bishop takes b2, and if you then take the queen, black will recapture, and because of the mate threat on d1, you cannot take that bishop, you don't have time for that. So black will win the rook on a1 and will be a piece up. So rook d1 would have been a big blunder. Jones saw that and he played rook e1 instead, taking the rook out of the attack from the bishop on h3. And Jobava played f5. Timman calls this strong and energetic play. e3, bishop took, queen took, and f takes e4. Black has his pawn back and has an attack. Knight e2, finally bringing that knight back into the game. Queen e7, which Timman calls a natural move, protecting the b-pawn and connecting the rooks, a natural move. The computer wants to play queen e8 instead, to go to h5 and win in the attack. But queen e7 was played by Jobava. Knight b3 and rook f6. Timman writes that c5 is a stronger move here to keep the knight out of d4, which would be a strong position there for the knight. But rook f6 was played, so Jobava wants to attack straight away. c5, there comes the other rook, and rook a c1, and that's a blunder. After rook e2, white would still be breeding, but after rook a c1 he is lost. Attacking is easier than defending, and that also applies to very strong grandmasters, because here Jobava won on the spot. He took on f2, and of course the queen is hanging. You cannot play away the queen, for example, to d4, because then you get checkmated. Rook g2 check, king h1, and the other rook comes to f2. White will not survive this. So after rook takes f2, Jones took, rook takes f2, king takes f2, and now the final move of the game. A beautiful move. If you want to look for yourself, see if you can find it. It's very nice. A very nice tactic. The move Jobava played, which made Jones resign, is queen f6 check. Fantastic move. White must have overlooked the devastating effect of the queen coming to b2. After king g1, queen b2, all white can do is interpose his pieces to cover the checkmate on g2 until he will get checkmated. Timman calls this a smooth win. I would say it's a wonderful win. The pawn sacrifice which gave black white's king's bishop which led to an attack, was very instructive and very deep. And of course the final combination is very beautiful as well. Great win from Jobava in round 9 of the European Championships. And these were the medal winners of the 2017 European Championships. Maxim Matlakov from Russia got the gold medal. Baadur Jobava, we just saw him in action, got silver, and Vladimir Fedoseev won the bronze medal. All three had 8.5 points from 11 games, but Matlakov had the better tiebreak. Hope you enjoyed this game, and I hope you will join me for the live stream on Chess to Impress. It will be during November, every Wednesday and Sunday at 7 p.m. GMT, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We play a tournament on the Lichess site. You can see the link there. So what you do is you go to the Chess to Impress channel on YouTube. There will be an icon there with the live stream at that time. And I will be there. And then you can enter on the Lichess website, enter the tournament. You'll be playing 5 to 8 games during that 45-minute time slot, and then the results will be there at the end. So a bit of fun, a live stream on Chess to Impress, and there's a live chat as well. You can ask me questions and you can tell me things. So it's a bit of a fun hour with the Chess to Impress community. Hope to see you there. Hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel. Please leave a comment. And if you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media. You also may want to check out my Chess to Progress channel. The link is in the description box. Hope to see you in a live stream. Thank you for watching.